Hello everybody, Phobos here. Welcome to episode 1 of my new Let's Play series. Now, I've been on a bit of a survival island kick lately. I like the idea that your resources are limited, you have that additional challenge, but you still have a world that you can go out and explore. You don't have to literally go and create every little bit of it like some other different types of Let's Plays. So, that being said, what I did was I kept creating game after game after game after game after game, just trying to find a good seed um, to start off with. And I found one that I kind of like. Haven't really done a whole lot with it just yet, and we're going to set that up right now. So, call this Survival Island Let's Play. Of course, you're going to want it in survival, and this here is the seed that I've stumbled across. It's kind of interesting. I know that there's some other ones out on the internet, like you start off with no trees, things like that. And I considered going with something like that, but A, they've already been played out. I want to show you guys something that's a little bit different, a little bit new. But B, the no trees thing, it's not that much of a challenge. Literally swim to the next island over, grab some trees, bring it back. Not that big of a deal. So, that being said, I like the way that this one is. Now, I'm also going to be playing it on Amplified because, well, it's just fun. It really is. It says that you need a beefy computer. I don't have one of those. We're going to see how this goes. What I do know just from the little bit of testing that I did do, the little islands that we start off with are fine. So if it really comes down to it, I don't know, we'll figure that out later. So I say, let's begin. All right, now this is probably take 3, if I'm not mistaken, of this Survival Island Let's Play series. The reason why is because there's just been one thing after another, it seems. Oh, we started off in the water. Interesting. But the good news is that we are home now. So this here is the island. Now, there's a spot just around the corner here I can get to a better look at it. I know this because, like I said, take 3. Yeah. Oh. Okay, it just hasn't loaded in yet. Fair enough. So this here is our island home. Now, as you can see, it is rather small. Definitely a small island. And if we look around here, we also notice that there's not really a whole lot of food. We do have trees, which I did talk about earlier, being that it just kind of saves us a step, really, of not having to go over to the next island. So, but yeah, so it's a quaint little island, and what makes sense is the first order of business is to put a bunch of torches up. So just because then that way we don't really have to worry about being bothered by mobs or anything like that. So that's exactly where we're going to start. Second step is getting some dirt placed so that we can make a bit of a tree farm so we can continue to have tools and all that fun stuff. Tree farm, I've decided, is actually going to go right over here. Just because the first take, where I'd actually had the entire island base figured out and tree farm and all of that, what I did was I built a giant dirt shelf over here to put the trees on. But then what happened was the water underneath was more like a river than an ocean, and it caused all kinds of problems that I, for the life of me, I couldn't fix it. Even after harvesting enough iron to get a bucket, I couldn't place source blocks, anything like that. So part of why we're just starting fresh. But yes, tree farm goes over here, and I'm gonna get started on that. Okay, so went ahead and got us some torches, tore down those trees, and I'm actually really happy with the amount of saplings that we've gotten. So by the looks of it, we have 7 oak and 5 birch, which really isn't too bad. For the past couple times I tried this out, I built like this shelf thing, like I was saying earlier, to try to make sure that we didn't lose anything. But it turns out that that wasn't even necessary. It was just a waste of time. Now it looks like it's starting to get dark, so I'm going to quickly throw down a couple of the torches here, just to make sure that we're nice and safe. It's a little bit more haphazardly than I have in other attempts, but that is okay. At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. As long as there's torches, we are safe. There we go. So we should be okay. So now the next thing that we got to do is just start working on getting some of the dirt placed over there. Now, because we do have A little bit of wood left over, and we definitely have some saplings. I can afford to make myself a cobblestone shovel. Oh, this would be a good place to throw down a torch. So, get a little bit of cobblestone for that. Almost got that bridge down, down pat. There we are. Right, and another torch there. Never really had problems, but well, I can't say I haven't had any problems. I've had to do a couple takes on this already, so just want to make sure that nothing else goes wrong. All right, a little bit of a progress report. I've managed to flatten out quite a bit of it before my shovel broke. That being said, it looks like we've collected about, yeah, good amount of dirt. Almost 2 stacks, which means that we do have enough to start laying down. Thought there was a water zombie there for a second. Like just a swimming zombie or something. Anyway, it's been a long day. So yeah, we can start placing down the dirt and get some trees growing here, which would be pretty great. So I'll be back with a progress report in a little while. All right, so little progress report. Laid down all the dirt that I've gathered so far and all of our saplings as well. Now, something that I really like about saplings is that you can place them side by side and they'll actually grow. The only potential downside is sapling production, which actually, now that I think about it, is an excellent reason to dig up a couple of these. Just basically what it is that there's not enough leaves to bring back the same amount of saplings as you put into it. Whereas if you do this, you tend to make a bit of a profit. So we'll go about that way. So yes, now that we have that, I will continue tearing down this mountain here. It'll be nice once it's all flat, because then we can start worrying about like what kind of a house we want to live in or things of that nature. So I will get back to you guys with that. All right, so just a bit of a progress report. Managed to get quite a bit done. Flatten the whole thing out, which is great. But even more importantly, the tree farm is a success. Very excited about this. I realized that I'm going to have to put some kind of a ceiling on this. That would be my cell phone. I'm going to have to put some kind of a ceiling on this so that we don't wind up with the harvesting nightmare that this tree is going to be. However, I am happy that we have wood. So, above all else, that's the important part right now. So, let's see here. Next order of business, well, work on continuing to flatten that out. It actually won't take very long. Now that we're going to have the flat area here, it's actually a little bit different than the other takes that I took with this video. So I actually have to figure out what I want to do with it now. I know that ultimately I would like to make basically a stacked tree farm that has our little base on top. So basically it would be about like one floor here, and then our base up there with a mob dropper even higher up than that, but still within range that we can do some branch mining and not have to worry. So just a couple things there that I want to balance out. But yeah, ultimately, that's so far, I'd say that we're off to a very good start. So, all right, so basically what I've been doing, I already flattened this out as I pointed out, started chopping away at that there, and we're left with this top part. Now I thought of just pillaring up and getting it all, but it started to become obvious that we should just simply move on to the next stage of the construction. Oh, hello, tree. We want trees that are about that big, so that it's nice and easy to harvest. Basically, we want to be able to look up, and as you can see, we can't reach up any higher than that, but we want to just be able to go like that and take out everything really nicely. So the way that I plan on doing that is just to make it look kind of nice. This farm is so awesome. Okay, so basically we're going to build up like a fence post type thing here, and then have a slab floor going across, and then we'll actually be able to place another layer of dirt for our birch. And that should be enough of a tree farm for here, and then we can place a nice little chalet or something on top. So that's what we're going to do to not only get access to these trees, because good God, they're growing tall. So we'll get access to the upper parts there, but then we'll also solve some of those fundamental problems as well. Incidentally, we do have quite a bit of wood. That for beginning of the game anyway, and for almost no work. Oh, and apples. We have apples too, which is kind of exciting. So yeah, as I was saying, I will get started on that, and I'll check back with you guys. So I never thought that I would say this, but the amount of tree that we have is just too much. It's not to say that I'm ungrateful for it or anything like that. It's just that with the amount of tools, like the kind of tools that we have at this point in time and whatnot, it is difficult, and to say the least, just to try to deal with all of this. I'm actually running out of cobblestone just making axes, just to try to take care of this all. So yeah, can definitely say that the tree farm has been a success. In fact, a little bit too much of a success, and I'm going to have to tone it down. So for the time being, I'm basically just going to tear all of that down and then go and build my platforms and that so that this doesn't happen again. All right, so after much labor, ta-da! There's the first part of the build. So this here is going to effectively cap the growth of the trees to a certain height, which means that once they do finally grow in, it's going to be rather easy to maintain them, which is, of course, an excellent thing, because you don't want to have to be building scaffolding just to farm some trees. So this here should make that much more efficient. I am able to. Well, I can't actually hit what's up there, but I can hit everything leading up to it. So that's like you can see right there. If I jump, I can get that hitbox. So that's definitely a plus. So if we come up here. Can make it a little bit fancier at some point, but it is a nice little vantage point of everything. So that's definitely going to be a plus. The next plan is to get some birch happening up here, and then up even a little bit further than that is where we'll start to place our base, which will be the where like in our mob farm where everything falls and ultimately meets its demise, all that fun stuff. Now, the real question becomes, do I want to keep this chunk of the island for anything, or do I just basically want to keep something like this? And I really don't know the answer to that question, to be completely honest. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of thinking on that. But while we're waiting on these trees to grow, we can start making the second platform, I believe. What do we have for wood? We have a decent amount of wood to get started with. So yeah, we'll start working on that second platform, and then once we have that, we're going to need to be able to fill it with dirt. Now there is some dirt here that we can use, and that is kind of a point for tearing this section here down. I think what I'm ultimately going to do is... I wonder how to fix that. I wonder if it'll just fix itself. Anyway, that was a bit of a tangent. Basically, gonna leave this all one block deep, so that if we do need to put some land back, we certainly can. Mining operation, things like that would probably require... Yeah, actually, now that I think about it, we're gonna have to get a strip mining operation happening, and that's gonna happen over here. Okay. Alright, that seems pretty reasonable. So what I'll probably only do is just take away about half of it, just to free up a little bit of the dirt, replace the dirt with sand, something. I don't know. It'll be one of those things that I'll know what to do as I'm doing it. So, with that being said, we'll get started on this. Alright, I would say that so far this has been very successful. started planting it up a little bit more with some of the torches over here. Had a chance to harvest some of the trees so far. It has been a breeze, just because of the change in height. Now, one thing that I forgot to do was throw some torches up top. So I've gone ahead and crafted a sword, and let's check out. Let's see what the damage is. Okay, good. Nothing yet. Let's nothing happens. Perfect. All right, so now that we've got this all lit up, as you can see, I'm starting to put some fence posts around here. One thing that occurred to me while I was working on all this is it makes a heck of a lot more sense to extend this out, possibly over something, extending it anyway, no matter what, and placing the birch over here so that all of that happens at the same level, and then that way the base itself isn't overly high, like overly tall. Because that was one thing that I realized when I actually went and stood up there is we got plenty of height. With the 7 blocks that 7 blocks tall that I made it, that's we don't need any more than that. We really don't. Uh, so we're just going to build out instead of up. Now that also means though that we're going to be able to get around to our mob dropper considerably quicker, and I'm quite excited for that. I've got a very specific type of build that I've been working on. Basically, it's going to start off without any redstone at all, but we're going to be able to convert it later on to a full-fledged flushing system that weeds out Endermen entirely, which for this stage of the game is a good thing. So just because we don't want to have to deal with those Ender pearls or not, but shortly afterwards, once we get enough resources and everything over here, I plan on building something that's a little bit more Enderman friendly, way over there or something like that. Just basically, you have to make so that they have nowhere to take food, and then you're good to go. So if you can build way over top of water, then you're fine. So yeah, that's essentially what I have in mind. Probably going to decorate this a little bit more as I get inspired. I feel that maybe like throwing some stairs at the bottom here. Do I have stairs? I do have stairs. I do have a couple stairs. Perfect. So, like say, I don't know, something like this. Just to kind of even it out a little bit or something. Something like that. Just to kind of, I don't know. That might be a bit much. Half slabs? I don't know, something like that. Basically plan on decorating though, and getting my main base up that way. I can't wait to see this thing from the water. That's going to be pretty epic. All right, so at this point, I've actually taken a couple days off from playing the game, believe it or not. Gotta love that real life part where I have to go to school and try to finish college and all that fun stuff. However, I have had a little bit of opportunity not only to work a little bit more here, so as you can see, I've gotten rid of a lot of our ground. I would basically, I just wanted it to be neat and clean. That's what it was. So I got rid of it, but it's still there if we ever do need it. So we can actually just go throw down. We haven't lost it, but it's kind of not there, basically. But the real important part is that I've actually figured out what exactly I want to do with this place. Haven't really like when I started building this, I didn't really have a clear image of what I was doing. It was just kind of like, okay, well, something about a tree farm and something about stilts, and I don't know. Guess we're gonna need stairs to get up there, and I don't know. It seems to work, and that was kind of my whole thought. Ooh, trees! Yay! That was kind of my whole thought process. Now, though, I know exactly what needs to be done. We need to add a little bit more, not just these planks. That's way too many of these planks here. I'm actually going to be replacing this all with logs, since apparently we're going to have plenty of wood. I don't really have to worry about running out, so that's good. Also, the stairs have got to go. We're going to be putting a ladder all the way up just because it makes a bit more sense. I've also thought about how we're going to extend this and what we're going to do with that afterwards. Basically, we're going to have it so that there's a 5x5 area for the tree, like for oak. Then we're going to have a 5 gap, if I'm not mistaken. 5 gap here of just nothing. So that gives it a couple of blocks width for these leaves here. A row of nothing. A couple of blocks worth of the of birch leaves. And then that's where that 5x5 area starts. And that is going to be more than enough. Where when it comes to wood and our needs for it, this is going to be fine. Each 5x5 section is going to get us about 100 blocks of wood every time that we harvest it. So at least 80. At least 80. So it's plenty of wood. I have two different types, and then that makes a nice little foundation that will be nice and hopper friendly when we go hopper minecart, all that fun stuff, when we go to make a little collection system underneath this later, just so that it automatically grabs all the saplings, all the apples, and we can even make it grab the logs, sort them out into chests, all that fun stuff. So that's going to happen. And then what we can do when we go to expand this out past this little foundation, this is the exciting part, little islands that just hold the posts. It's going to be so beautiful. Hello, kitten. I have a couple of recording buddies. This one here is completely blocking my view of the screen. Hey, Blitz. Want to say hi? Want to say hi, Blitz? No? You being shy? Okay. So, alright, I have control of the keyboard again. Thank you, kittens. Now, so, I say let's get started. Oh, yes, and I also worked out that I want to change up that trim. So that's probably the first thing that we're going to do. Do we have axes? We have axes. Perfect. Let's start working on tearing down this outer spot here. Now I'm just going to do this as a quick little time lapse. Still see what's going on. You don't have to be completely bored to death with the details because, let's face it, if you've played Minecraft before, you understand how to break blocks. So, let the time lapse begin. Alright, so we're just going to take a moment here to clean up the couple blocks that have dropped along the way. It's not a whole lot of wood, but we definitely don't want to waste it. And ta-da! We are done. Yeah, the end of the video. That's it. We're done. Heh. Just kidding, of course. Essentially what we're going to do is we're going to fill that spot in with half slabs instead of the full blocks that were there. And then we're going to replace these pillars here with actual logs, which will make it look really great in the end. If you're wondering why it's not making any noise when we mine things, I had to actually re-record this little chunk of the audio. My microphone was acting up. I have no idea what's going on with it, but I'll get down to the bottom of that at some point. Basically, though, we're going to move right into a super quick time lapse while we just wrap this up. All right, so we have replaced all the posts with logs, which I think just gives it that extra little bit of contrast, and it's a little bit more true to life, because you're not going to make a bunch of planks and then stack them and call it a column. You're just going to use logs. So that's that. And now just to take care of this section here, we are going to need more half slabs than that. That is for certain. So crafting table, which has actually been moved up to here. I didn't mention that. Crafting table has been moved up to here. I'm sure you guys noticed that earlier with the time lapse. However, just in case you hadn't, that's where it went. All right, everybody, this is the final product. So basically, it's been quite the adventure. Okay, camera, so work with me here. Work with me. It's been quite the adventure trying to get this video up for you guys. I mentioned at one point that it was take 3, and while that is true, there was also some ideas before Survival Island that I've been trying to actually get into play. All in all, I've been working on this for about a month now, and oh, hello, Squid. There's a few ideas before Survival Island. Anyway, it's just getting to a point where I just want to put something up on my channel so I can move on with my life, and this is it. So this is the final product. It's pretty straightforward. We don't really need to see a full time lapse on it being built or anything like that. At least that's in my humble opinion. Yeah, I'm pretty excited to get started on the next episode where we get to add a lot of things to this base. One of the first things is probably going to be some kind of a why can't I think of it right now? Wheat. There it is. Wheat. Wow, that was quite the brain fart. So yes, we're gonna need some kind of a wheat farm so that not only can we have a food source because my health is dangerously low, but on top of that, I'd like to have a straw bale house up top. So it just seems to be very fitting with the island motif here, along with the what we've built so far. And incidentally, while I was looking around, hello, okay, that's not working the way I wanted to. Come on, just let something go right. There's a motion monument off in the distance over there. So that's going to make for an exciting episode at some point. Anyway, that's all that we have time for today. If you enjoyed yourself, please hit that like button. And if you want to see more of this, then make sure to subscribe. But this is Phobos, and I am out. Enjoy.